Hi, almost everyone watches me without a subscription. Please support my channel with a subscription. I try for you, thank you. Story 1 Aita for prioritizing my son's dog over my wife's pregnancy? When my son, 14, was 8, we got a dog. He's half Great Dane and half some dog my friend's dog met during an unauthorized absence. My son loves this dog and does all the care for him, except vet stuff, and is a very responsible dog owner. This dog is pretty much his best friend. My wife is 12 weeks pregnant, and ever since we confirmed the pregnancy she has been acting weird around the dog. She avoids him, puts her hands over her stomach when he is around, and jolts whenever he makes noise. Today she told me she wants to rehome the dog. I asked her what she was talking about. She said she has been having anxiety that he will jump on her. This is completely unreasonable. He doesn't jump on people. We trained him not to jump on people or run into people very young because he is half Great Dane, and I felt this was important for all dogs, but especially one who could possibly grow to such a large size, which he did. There is no reason for her to think the dog will jump on her. She said that there is no way to know for sure that the dog won't jump on her, and if he does, our baby could be hurt. This dog has never so much as growled at her. She said even if the dog doesn't jump on her, her anxiety about it is bad for her health. She said she needs the dog elsewhere for her safety and the baby's. I told her that there was no way. My son got this dog right after he lost his mom and imprinted on him hard. Sometimes I think he loves the dog more than me. I'm not taking his dog. The dog didn't do anything. My wife said I'm prioritizing the dog over her pregnancy. The dog isn't a threat to her pregnancy. If this were any other unreasonable request, I would just do it because she is pregnant. I just can't break my son's heart over a fear she has that makes no sense. Am I being an asshole? Relevant comments. More about the dog. We trained the dog when he was a puppy, before I ever even met my wife. Has she expressed wanting to get rid of the dog in the past? Never had an issue. My son does such a good job walking and playing with the dog that when the dog is in the house he is usually eating, napping, or giving everyone pet me eyes while he lays on the floor. They've never had a bad interaction. She would pet him if he was right next to her or let him lick her fingers if she'd been cooking and was about to wash her hands. She'd throw something for him if he brought it to her. She definitely doesn't hate the dog. It's my son's dog, so obviously the dog always goes to my son first, but the dog and my wife were definitely amicable roommates up until her pregnancy. Is the wife worried about anything else and changing things? She changed her diet and some other small things, but most of them seemed reasonable to me, or at least very harmless changes. Can you restrict what rooms the dog goes into? He's never been allowed in the master bedroom or guest bedroom, soon to be nursery, laughing face. So that's not going to change. Logistically, I don't think we can close off any of the other rooms. He sleeps in my son's room. His food and water are in the kitchen, which doesn't have a wall separating it from the living room. In response to someone questioning why he didn't say more about his son and wife's relationship. It's kind of hard to describe something as complex as a relationship between two people without generalizing or writing pages and pages. First of all, my son has never seen her as a mother. They met when he was 11, and I introduced her as my girlfriend, and he was friendly with her from the beginning but never affectionate, and that dynamic has more or less been consistent since, even as my relationship with my wife deepened and we eventually got married. My wife and son, overall, have consistently productive and good interactions. Have they ever fought? Yes. I challenge you to find two people that live together and have never fought. However, those are the minority of their interactions. Is she maternal towards him? No, but he doesn't want her to be, so this is in keeping with his preference. My wife is one of the important women in my son's life, but she will never be as important to him as his mom. I think it's wrong to expect that from him. He'll still take her advice on talking to girls though, for whatever that is worth. My advice is garbage, apparently, despite him being living proof of my game. A good comment from OOP and Next Steps. Yeah, don't worry. I know how the internet is. I try not to feed the trolls, so I've done my best to just ignore bad faith comments. The person who commented that my wife should get an abortion severely tested my impulse control, but I managed to refrain from responding. My wife's next OBGYN appointment isn't for a bit, but in the meantime I've looked into the baby training dogs thing several people mentioned. I even convinced someone to loan me their baby tonight. Free babysitting is persuasive. Don't forget to subscribe, rate the video and click the bell, so my wife and I will get to see for ourselves how the dog reacts to babies. Yes, the parent is aware of my motivation, and no, I'm not going to do anything crazy like leave the baby alone with the dog or whatever. So I'm looking forward to that and hope it is a positive experience for my wife. About how the babysitting is going. The baby is very cute. Dog is fascinated by the baby. However, I have lost my position as the dog's baby trainer. My son reminded me that he is the official, no paperwork to back this up, by the way, dog trainer for our household and has taken over the entire operation. He did graciously allow me to change the baby's diaper, so generous. No clue what my old coworker, person who loaned me her baby, feeds this kid, but I must never feed it to mine. My wife is watching the training while pretending to watch TV. She looks nervous, but not upset. I think this was a good idea. I think a few months of this will be really good for everyone. OOP is voted NTA. Update post, January 12, 2023. Title: We are preparing the dog for our baby, and my wife is taking steps to safeguard her mental state. My son has had a dog, half Great Dane, half unknown canine Casanova, for 6 years. My wife recently developed a fear of the dog after confirming her pregnancy. She wanted to rehome the dog, either by giving him back to my buddy we originally got him from, as his dog that gave birth to mine has since died, or by finding some other nice family to take him. Obviously, that didn't make any sense, for a number of reasons, but her anxiety was overwhelming her. We read some stuff about pregnant women developing sudden fear and hatred towards pets and how common this phenomenon is. Several people shared their personal stories on my original post, but I couldn't show her those because I didn't tell her about the original post. There were too many people saying mean things on it. But I found similar stories elsewhere online, and she found them reassuring. We've been training the dog on how to be around babies. Well, my son is training him. So far, a former coworker of mine and a neighbor have let me borrow their babies for an evening, and both times went really well. So we will continue to enforce appropriate baby behavior with the dog. My wife visited her OBGYN to discuss her fear and anxiety, and she again was reassured that many women face similar experiences when pregnant. She is going to start seeing someone to discuss her changing emotional state. She also decided she wants to spend as little time as possible with the dog for now. So we've all been accommodating that, and the dog is now spending the majority of his indoor time in my son's room instead of the living room when my wife is home. So far the dog doesn't mind, as he sleeps in there anyway, and that's where his best friend lives. Our home continues to be harmonious. I appreciate all the people who provided productive information and outlooks on the last post. Relevant comments. The couple let you borrow the baby LOL? They were really excited about the free babysitting. A level of excitement that, to be honest, made me nervous. What does that entail? We don't just put the baby in front of the dog and peace out. My son holds the baby and puts treats in their hands to give the dog while giving the dog commands. After the dog follows the commands, the baby, actually my son, gives the dog a treat. So the dog learns that babies are humans, authority figures, and need to be treated respectfully and not puppies or some strange interloper animal that can be played roughly with. The dog also gets used to the sounds babies make so he won't find them upsetting or stressful later on. Dog tax? Nope. I don't want any of our friends to see this post online and connect it to us because of all the mean things people said about my wife on the first one. Sorry. Don't forget to subscribe, rate the video and click the bell. Story 2. Aita for not telling my wife where her son has been hiding? Just for clarification, I've been with my wife for 5 years, married for 4.5. I have a daughter. Me and my wife have 2 kids together, and she has Leo, 16M, who she was adamant that I would not parent when we got together. I was fine with that since his dad is still in his life. Leo and his mother don't get on, never have, arguments happen often, and he tries to ignore her. It's just him, none of our other kids. I've tried to talk to her about it, but she just says that he's not my son. 2 years ago, I had to get my daughter's toy from the roof of our house and found him sat up there in a spot you could not see from the ground, listening to music and reading a book. He looked scared when I saw him. I just gave him a smile, then threw the toy down to my daughter. A couple days later, we were the only ones home and he came to me to talk about it. I told him that I get why he needs some time to himself. What he is doing will not damage the roof and there is no way for him to fall off the roof where he sits or the path he takes to get there, out his window. Also, it's not like he is sneaking up there to drink or smoke. Plus, my wife has said not to parent him, so I don't have an issue with it and I won't say anything. I did say something to him when I noticed he started bringing a boy up there. I just told him to make sure he is quiet when talking and to not do anything stupid. There have been times where his mother needed him, couldn't find him and would just assume he was out, but I knew he wasn't, but again I didn't say anything. Fast forward to now, about a week ago, my wife installed a tracker app on all our kids' phones due to it getting darker in the afternoon / when they're out. Plus, one of her friends recently did the same with her kids. Well, today she was looking for Leo and couldn't find him. Assuming he was out, she checked his location and he was in the house. She started searching and yelling for him. He heard and quickly climbed down the outside of the house to the drive. He then walks in the house and pretends that he was just out with some friends and got back and that I knew he was out. I cover for him sometimes. Well, even though it is actually completely plausible that it would show his location as in the house if he was just walking up to it, she wasn't convinced and came to me, demanding to know where Leo. I said that he told me that he had been out with friends, but I just saw him walk up the driveway. Both true. She clearly wasn't happy about my answer and has been threatening more surveillance and grounding Leo, and she's also saying I'm TA for not telling her. I didn't think I was in the wrong, but after thinking it over while I was just trying to look out for Leo, I did overstep her boundaries as a parent. So AITA? Relevant comments. Is bio dad in the picture and a healthy parent? Yes, Leo and him get on great, and he never seems distant or reluctant when it is dad's turn to have him. Plus, I've met the guy quite a bit, but only for short times, and he seems nice. He also trusts his dad, as there are things he has only told me and his dad. Isn't the roof unsafe? His spot is nestled between two inclines, kind of like a valley since we have an extension. So he can't fall off either side, and it's only one story. He gets there through his second-story window. Does son know there is a tracking app on the phone? He does know. He just didn't think it would matter, as she said she wouldn't check it often. OOP is voted in TA. Update post, January 12, 2023. Me and my wife had a serious talk. I told her that while I have no intent to replace his father, it is ridiculous that I have no say when it comes to Leo since he lives in my house. I also told her that her behavior towards Leo is smothering and that if she keeps up like this she will drive him away. When I said that, I think it really hit her. She started to listen more and was a lot more receptive to what I had to say. I told her that the tracking app was a violation of their privacy and that if she wants to keep them then she must let them. My eldest daughter and Leo, our other kids, are young enough where I think tracking them is okay. Turn it on and off. If she wants to know where they are, she can call or text them. She tried to get me to tell her where Leo has been hiding. I told her I'm not telling her. I have gained Leo's trust, and having an adult round that he can confide in and trust will be very helpful while she's trying to repair her relationship with him. Also, I told her to think about how far she's pushing him if he needs to find a place to hide from her. I told her that we should look into therapy, both as a couple and just for her, as it will be able to help her deal with her emotions and help her on her path to reconnect with her son. At the end of this, we had a look at local therapists, and she also sat down with Leo and let him tell her how he feels, promising him he can say anything and he won't be in trouble. I'm also going to be having a talk with Leo, just so he knows I'm here for him, also to tell me where his dad if anything happens, and to tell him that while his mother wants to make things right, things can happen on his timeline, and he doesn't have to do anything, forgive anything, or talk about anything that he is not ready for yet. It's only a start and we still have a way to go as a family, but I think this is a step in the right direction. Thank you for your help. Also, I wanted to answer a few questions I was getting on my original post. Yes, she parents my daughter, because I let her. Leo's dad and I are on friendly terms, but he wasn't aware of a lot of this happening as Leo hadn't told him. My daughter is 15 and my younger two are both 4, not twins. The elder one turns 5 very soon and my youngest only recently turned 4. The kids did know about the tracker, but they didn't really get a choice in it. Yes, me and my wife marries after only being together for 6 months. It was kinda an ultimatum I was given, but I didn't really mind. Leo is the spitting image of his father, but I don't think the resemblance caused the issues like some of you suggested, but I don't know for sure since my wife never gave me an answer when I tried to find out why. Relevant comments. What was this ultimatum? She was pregnant and said she would go back to her family, who live in a different country, while she was pregnant and not let me see the child unless we got married and moved in together. One clarification on sharing his sexuality. I did initially leave it out of my original, but the vagueness of the topic caused debate and arguments in the comments. That's why I included it. My wife does not use Reddit, and I have permission for my son to mention to others that he is gay as long as I do not tell his mother. Don't forget to subscribe, rate the video, and click the bell.